number 19, your weekly dose of amazing Cranky Ducklings StarCraft. Welcome back and welcome back. I'm your host, VIP. With me, I'm joined by these amazing players, the people in the chat, and by my plushies as well as welcome. The bracket is live, and if you're maybe a little bit unfamiliar, this is a weekly open tournament. It is open to all regions, all shapes, all sizes. The bracket is live, and we are jumping into our first series of the night. We're jumping into a TvP. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Dolan, we have someone I have not casted in a very long time. He's one of our own. He's one of the Cranky Ducklings, the American Terran player. It is Dolan. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the Red Protoss player. From South Korea, it is ReBellioN. Here we go. We have Dolan immediately going to be sending out an SCV across the map, headed towards the third base, the linear third base location. ReBellioN likewise going for a probe scout across the map. So far, none the wiser. And Dolan, he's known for his aggression, especially in this matchup. Is more of a macro player against Zerg, against Terran, but against Protoss, Dolan is willing to mix it up. And I'm curious what exactly he's going to be bringing to the table here. Double gas back at home, just the one proxy Rax. Based on its placement, I don't imagine it's going to be proxy Marauder. I imagine just proxy Reaper with a bunker on the low ground, designed to be a nuisance in the early game, but not be an all-in. Not to be an all-in. Meanwhile, before I get ahead of myself, we're diving in. If you're in the chat, you know what time it is. You know what time it is. It's Gamba time. Predictions are open. We will be going over the bracket after the series. For now, we'll be focusing on this best of 3, and then we can go over the rest of the tournament and all the insane players that are taking part here tonight. And go over. Until then, we do have our initial openers. Again, just Gate Cyber Expand here by ReBellioN, everything looking as it should. Bunker gets placed and the Reaper is on the way. Now, if this bunker does finish, we will force a shield battery, we'll force out a Stalker as well. Force a response here from ReBellioN, a bit of a delay there, but oh god! But the SV goes down, unable to save it, unable to get the bunker up and running. Then the Reaper gets surrounded as well. Everything going from bad to worse for Dolan. The Reaper goes down, the SCV goes down, the bunker will not finish, and ReBellioN will hold. ReBellioN will be able to force a cancel, and as a result, no shield battery is required. It can freely mine from his natural base. This is a rough start for the Terran player for Dolan, just because he invested quite heavily here into delaying some of the economy, and he has been unsuccessful. Has been quite unsuccessful here. Back at home, he is going for a CC, going for a follow-up factory into Starport, but just a rocky start here for our Terran, and we'll see if he can bounce back. Do want to believe he can. Dipping in, just getting some scanning information. Twilight Council gets thrown down after the Reaper does pivot away, so with that, ReBellioN is going to be keeping at least his tech hidden, keeping his tech in the dark, away from the prying eyes of Dolan. Reaper dipping back in. It looks like it might be a one-way trip here for this Reaper, trying to get a scout what's going on, trying to get a read on what exactly the tech is. Is it a Twilight Council, a Robo, or a Stargate? Reaper will get one probe kill in the main. Will force a bit of lost mine time as well. Taking some extra hits, and up. Oh, is going to be zoned away. He will not quite get a scout on what is going on. We'll get a second probe, but the Reaper does fall. Rax is floating back home. Dolan settling in, getting into his own 3-1-1 follow-up. But at the moment is unaware as to kind of the tech and the playstyle here that ReBellion's going to be embracing. And we'll see if he can piece it together. ReBellioN checking for a further proxy, looking for the Rax. Alas, did miss it. The Rax already floating back home. And we do see the tech of choice for ReBellioN is Blink. Blink is on the way. For now, just the initial gateways, just 2-gate Blink. And it could just be 2-gate Blink into a third, or ReBellioN could throw down additional gateways and tech up and be a little bit more assertive here instead of the mid-game. Could be more aggressive, as Dolan is following up with a Cyclone drop. Now, this is multi-purpose. One hand, this can deal a lot of damage, can get some probe kills. On the other, it can also scout and get a read on what ReBellioN is up to. Does get eyes on a third gateway. That is a tell. Lock-ons will be able to get some damage done, but it looks like we will be able to pick up, get the hell out of there. We don't lose any Cyclones, and upon seeing that third gate, that should be a tell for Dolan that it is going to be a Twilight Council here, or at least a Robo, not a Stargate. So 3-gate Blink, so far 3 gateways. Into a third. Ooh, was misplaced. Good morning. So ReBellioN is going for a safe opener. 3-gate blink. It does give us excess stalkers to work with. There is no robo to counterattack. There is no robo. There is no prism. And the end, ReBellioN is just going to be settling in. And chilling back at home. It does also mean that back at home, I mean, Dolan likewise is quite safe and secure, getting a safety bunker, just setting up his SimCity, setting up his army, just in case ReBellioN were to be a little bit more assertive with his stalkers. But we are just going to be building up. ReBellioN is moving out, and shout to the turtle. There's a crab as well. Beautiful. ReBellioN is moving out just to contain his opponent, to keep an eye on any kind of drop play, any move outs. Speaking of, Raven Harass in the natural, doesn't get much done. There is an auto, sorry, there's a shield battery. Is that shield battery really just going to be focusing on saturation, building up back at home, getting his third up and running, now going for his gateway explosion into charge, into +1. ReBellioN is building up. And I'm curious to see if Dolan takes a third. At this point, I mean, Dolan, he's not a stranger to going for these big 2-base all-ins where you pull the boys and just set everything across the map. +1 is finishing up. There's just the one eBay. We have Stim. We have combat shields. Especially because of the rougher start from Dolan, I would not be surprised. But there it is. A third CC has been thrown down and is instantly spotted by ReBellioN. Trying to force the cancel. Oh, and he does. The command center is denied. It's going to be rebuilt. It's going to be replaced. Dolan is working on it, but alas, has been slowed down quite a bit. Upon seeing the third, we see ReBellioN taking up. Typical archives that should be for splash damage, Storm, Arc on production. No Bay, no Colossus. It's going to be, again, I imagine Storm for the splash damage of choice. ReBellioN getting ready for a Zealot drop into the main. Stalker still active here outside of the third. And Dolan is getting ready for his own move out. As he moves out, Zealots, they move in. They're warping in 5 Zealots at a time. So charge outs, some SCVs are going down, and Dolan should be able to clean this up. But again, he's being pinned back at home. Being pinned back, giving ReBellioN more time. Storm has now begun. We spoke about the splash damage earlier. So again, charge our Archon into Storm. Into a 4th base. And as ReBellioN is building up, it's not like Dolan is resting on his laurels. Likewise, he should be working towards his own kind of further tech. No Ghost Academy yet, but I'm sure we will be taking there once we take our third. So drop does come back in. Once again, getting into the Mineral Alliance. More SCVs going down. Not like this. It's going to appear by Dolan. Can now take his third. Can now finally move out. And by the time he does, though, Storm is going to be done. Storm is complete, and there's plenty of High Templar gathering energy. There's going to be 3 Storms with the main army. A lot of charge slots. This army is a little bit more vulnerable to something like EMPs, but Dolan hasn't gone in that direction. Dolan scanning, gets eyes on the army. He did spot the High Templar. Dolan is aware. Ghost Academy now on the way. 2nd starport for... I mean, that would have been for Vikings, but there's no need for Vikings here. Looks like Dolan was just assuming it was going to be Colossus. We can see, though, it's anything but. And this is going to be a tough hold for Dolan. He's setting up his Widow Mines. I mean, if the connections are good, then Dolan can hold, but there's no bunkers here either. Mine's getting baited out. Oh! Storm here on the main army. Massive Storm. There is some SimCity to work with, but not much of a choke point. It's going to be enough to deter ReBellioN. He's forced back. Okay. Does calm things down. Backs off. Behind this, Bay is now on the way. That's going to be for the Colossus. And ReBellioN, he does retreat. I feel like he could have tried to have broken this location, but alas, ReBellioN, he thinks better of it. He's going to play it safer, backs off, establishes his fourth base, scan reveals saturation, and the game progresses. Okay, we're in this. The game does continue. Dolan is getting into his Ghost production. Once Colossus production begins, he can also work towards the Vikings, has that second starport, if need be. But as Dolan moves out, ReBellioN does spot the army. Does confirm everything with that observer. Is getting ready. Oh, do you have 3 High Templar in that prism? The Viking swords. Oh, sort of come in. So Dolan away. And it looks like the High Templar will be cleaned up. Force them morph into Archons. High Templar out of energy. ReBellioN pulling away. Extendable lance in production. Triple robot. Oh my god. That's gonna be a lot of Colossus at once. At the same time, Zeltay busts into the middle line. They force a bit of friendly fire. Getting 2 SCVs. Dolan's gonna keep pushing. There it is. 3 Colossus at a time. Dolan does begin Viking production, but I mean, those are the first Vikings. First wave of Vikings on the way. Let's scan ahead of time. Spots a High Templar. Not enough energy, not yet. ReBellioN a bit out of position. Dolan pushing in. ReBellioN was reading this. Nice snipe. Snipe goes up. Colossus are revealed. Catches a High Templar. Denies a storm. And now Dolan is aware of the Colossus. Does snipe the expansion. Zeltay coming in from behind. Does get an EMP. But he has to get the hell out of here. Does lose an empty medevac, does escape with most of his army. There he is, making 4 Vikings at a time. Can he escape though? Oh, he has to boost away. Oof. Almost empty medevac does go down. Dolan does boost. Stalker's in position. Dolan, he can make it back home, but what is there waiting for him? And ReBellioN is maxed out. He is maxed at this point. Oof. Up. Oh my god, medevac barely does escape. CC lands, it's gonna go down. Dolan trying to buy time. There's a choke point here at the natural. Army rotating over, Colossus taking a lot of damage. The Zelts are stuck at the choke point. Yeah, Zelts aren't doing much. Colossus go down, nice pickoffs. Another Colossus has arrived. But it might just be too much Protoss here. Vikings, they land. Oh god, no! They don't get the Colossus. Colossus lives. Yeah, it looks like ReBellioN just has an overwhelming army. Just has far too much here. And a very strong early game. Dolan wasn't quite able to recover. His move out was spotted by the Observer. ReBellioN did snowball out of control. His economy was never really punished. It was never really hindered. Sure, a base went down towards the end, but at that point, it didn't even matter. GG gets called, and ReBellioN takes game number 1. Whew. GG. Does take the first game. Does take a lead in the series. Congratulations. Oh. So just asking for game heart for game 2. Yeah, not a bad start here for ReBellioN. Again, coming in as one of the more favored players. I do want to say that Dolan can threaten ReBellioN. I think we have actually seen Dolan defeat ReBellioN in the past. But we'll see. We'll see how they compare this time. Again, it was just a really rough start. Bearing in mind, the opener was a proxy Rax into Reaper with a bunker as well. The bunker was denied. SCV was killed. First Reaper was surrounded by probes. Like, it was a really rough start for Dolan, and did try to recover from there. I'm sure this time things will be a little more even in the early game. I would hope so, at least. I would hope so. As we are setting up. Meanwhile, big shout out to Rocklets. Rocklets, of course, casting in his own native language, in Portuguese or Brazilian. Chocolate is joining us. And we do have the bracket progressing as well. I mean, we'll get there. Get to the brackets. We have our second map, and game 2 is going to be on site Delta. Let's go. It's going to be site Delta for game 2. And I'm hoping for an ace match. I'm hoping for a back and forth. The pressure is now going to be on Dolan. From Dolan back. Meanwhile, hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all enjoying yourselves here. Bright and early on a Monday morning. Again, we're kind of in the middle of the marathon. Last night we casted Sparkling Tuna Cup. We have the Tenacious Turtle Tussle this morning. We have the Warty TV Monday later on tonight. And we have the Ursasaurus Cup tomorrow as well. So, non-stop StarCraft. Let's go. Because the Warty event is later on tonight, I'm probably going to try and nap in between. Like, in between this event and the next one. We'll try to sleep. So, no ladder session today. No ladder. Okay, we good. We're jumping in. I almost loaded in as a player. So it's all good. Got out. We're now getting into game number 2 and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of site Delta. We have the American Terran player, the blue Terran representing the Cranky Ducklings. We'll see if we can bounce back and make a series out of this. It is Dolan. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss player, the red Protoss. It is ReBellioN. Here we go. We have our TvP. And this time, Dolan does not send an SCV across the map. As a reminder, last game, Dolan, he started off with a Proxy Rax, Proxy Reaper, with a bunker as well on the low ground. This time, the Rax is back at home. We're calming things down, taking a different approach, which I do appreciate. We can see ReBellioN a little bit paranoid, is going to be checking and scouting the third base location, checks just outside the third before moving out across the map. Shout out to the turtle. But after the last game, ReBellioN is just making sure he's safe and sound, making sure he's secure. And side Delta is going to be an interesting one. Bit of a longer rush distance by ground. I mean, not as long as Golden Aura. Golden Aura is more known for its longer later games. The bases on this map, though, are more exposed. The third base locations, likewise pushing in between the bases as well, in between the third and the natural, can be quite effective as well. We'll see if Dolan can make use of that. Not unheard of to see more aggressive builds like 3 Raxes on site Delta. Likewise, more economic builds like 3CC 3 Rax instead. ReBellioN is quite fond of it on site Delta, but we'll see. But now Dolan's going to be expanding, taking the low ground, just an economic opener, single gas, Rax expand out of Dolan. Likewise, ReBellioN going for a gate, Cyber, into Nexus, back at him as well. So everything's looking as it should. Nothing crazy yet. I say that ReBellioN does have his probe active on the map. Can set up a proxy pylon if he so chose to. So yeah, there we go. Pylon has been thrown down. Twilight Council opener out of ReBellioN. even before the second gateway, so very, very early tech by ReBellioN. I imagine rushing into Blink, or because how fast the Twilight Council is, are we crazy enough to go proxy Dark Shrine? I mean, with how fast this is, with how few gateways there are, with how few stalkers there are, I'm leaning towards DTs. And that Dolan's going 3cc. He's going 3cc, 3 racks, which we did just mention. Twilight Council's done. Shows the Dark Shrine. Oh, there it is. Proxy Dark Shrine by ReBellioN. Meanwhile, we do have Double Reaper moving out. Now, there's a lot going on here. On the one hand, DTs, they could just end the game if there's no scan available. Because Dolan is opening up 3cc, though, he will have triple CCs and triple mules and triple scans to work with. So the likelihood of him having a scan is a little bit higher. Reapers move out, they go for the dive. Ooh, one Reaper gets picked up. The other gets zoned away. He does not get into the main base. Scout is denied. And with that, he doesn't know. If he would have slipped into the main, he would have seen the Twilight Council was not researching. That would have been a massive tell. But alas, Dolan is in the dark. Back at home, building up bio. There is an eBay, but there's no reason to throw down the turret. Again, he needs that scan. So far, he's muling. Dark Shrine about to finish up. And will he hold on to a scan? There is a scan available in the main. There is the one. Ooh, no bunker on the low ground. A little bit greedy here by Dolan. Building up his bio. Again, this is quite a greedy build here from the Terran player. Does have a scan available with that third CC. He has 2 scans. Let's say shade into the natural. DTs, they can just win the fights. Even without even with scans. Boys are being pulled. SCVs are going down. Marines trying to keep up, but so many workers fall. Ay. Yeah, despite the detection, the damage is just too great. 13 SCV kills, and 1 DT survives. Not like this. And just like that, even though Dolan doesn't die here and now, that is crippling damage. 13 SCVs this early on is brutal. Again, unfortunately, there was no safety bunker. Unfortunately, the Marines were in the main. Because Dolan wasn't aware of the opener, he was ready for an Oracle. That's why his army was split up. He was expecting Oracle harass or Phoenix harass, and it was neither. And now from here, ReBellioN can expand. From here, ReBellioN can take a third base, Gateway Explosion, Forge, +1, Charge. Now, Dolan can now be active. Does have his starport on the way. It was delayed because of the DTs. But he can soon get into medevac production and move out. But the move out is delayed. So Dolan is stuck at home a little bit longer. He's going to be stuck at home. DT threatening once again. But there is that turret. Turret is in position. There's the add-on swap for the medevacs. By the time drop play comes into play, I mean, ReBellioN has an army. Not the most threatening army. He's got charge lots and archons, that is true. Can it compare to the forces of Dolan with +1 in stim? Army is spotted. Dolan pulls away. Boys are being pulled. Dolan should clean this up, but once again, how many SCVs are going to be going down? Like the whole position micro on the workers, 9 SCVs fall. It's 22 in total. Now we have the bunker on the way. But again, a far later bunker. More Archons are morphing in. Dolan has the third base, and I mean, if he can get it up and running, then Dolan he can recover. He doesn't have map control. Now going for a drop across the map. I mean, with this bunker now in position, I believe Dolan should be able to hold on. I say that, it's going to be close. That's 3 Archons. And they're going for the bunker. No repairs. Bunker does fall. A nice spread here from ReBellioN. Dolan trying to hold on. Getting into Widow Mines. Drop across the map. Can threaten the mineral line. It's a shield battery. There is an overcharge. And ReBellioN is set up across the map. Dolan slipping in. Gets shield battery. Gets the probes. ReBellioN is forced to recall. Not bad. Oh my god. Most of the Marines do get away. The medevac is so close to going down. Does barely survive. And Dolan, he forced the entire army back home. This is all he needed. Dolan finally gets breathing room, and that means he can expand. Finally, we can take a base. We can take a third. Dolan, he breaks free. Is unaware of their proxy. Oh, fourth base already getting up and running for ReBellioN, but that is a massive army for Dolan. He can take a fight. I say that. A lot of this is going to come down to the Widow Mines. If the Widow Mine shots are good and solid on these Zealots, then you can't shut this down. Bearing in mind, there is no EMP for Dolan. Ghost Academy still on the way. Third base now landing. Drop into the main. ET goes down. Charge lots are diving in. Mine shots going off, not bad. Takes down half of the charge lots. And the other half is getting softened up as well. Reinforcements have arrived, and Dolan, I believe he should clean up the Zealots. Can he get the Archons, though? I think he can. Up! He's going for them. Gets one. Just gets the one. The other two will survive. Again, not the worst trade for Dolan, but at the same time, Zealots, they hit the third. SCVs are going down. Up to the main. It's being cleaned up. Due to the Zealot run by, Dolan is stuck at home. Trying to establish his third. Likewise, the main army of ReBellioN also moving out. He did hold on to two of those Archons. Two Archons, mass Zealot. Dolan's moving out, not quite in position to defend. ReBellioN just has a little bit too much to work with. Ghosts are coming in with the EMPs though. But they're not with the main army. The Ghosts! No! They rally in. One EMP goes off, two Ghosts go down. Zealots, they bust into the mineral line and 9 SCVs fall. At the same time, Dolan hits the third, but back at home, I'm not so sure Dolan can defend. Not against this army. Zealots force a recall. Army does recall back home. Dolan picks up, drops into the main. He defends, he attacks, not bad. But he did lose his third. He did lose control of his third base. It's still down in economy. Trying to pick up whatever he can in the main as well. Going for extra probe kills. Lifting off, rallying across the map. The observer does confirm this. ReBellioN trying to keep up. Now there are Ghosts in the main army. But there's just not much to work with here for Dolan. Jumping back into the main. Going for the Stalkers. And just too many charge loads. Despite the EMPs, just not enough support. Yeah, Dolan has to back up. At least it'll save most of his units. Most of them. Meanwhile, the drop in the main did clean up the Stalkers. Forcing defensive warp-ins. Medevac goes down. Yeah, brutal loss for Dolan. And he's being overwhelmed. He just cannot keep up. It took him far too long to get his third base up and running. And we see ReBellioN snowballing out of control, knocking down that third. And can even get a kill this time. The third burns down. SCVs are hunted down as well. Dolan is going to be on his last legs. Has some decent SimCity at the natural, but there's only so much SimCity can do against the sea of Zealots. ReBellioN just forcing his way into the natural, getting into the mineral line, more reinforcements on the way. Nothing to keep ReBellioN back at home, not this time. Drones are coming in, but that's 29 SCVs going down. Oof. Decent mine shots, but that's going to be a kill on the natural base as well. There's no floating away from this. The natural falls, and now we're just trickling into the Protoss army. A handful of Marines, handful of Marauders. GG gets called, and ReBellioN will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the next round. GG. GG, well played. Just some rough starts, or some rough early game for Dolan. Game 1, again, his initial proxy was shut down quite hard, and here in Game 2, unfortunately, Dolan was denied the scout. If you remember, he went double Reaper, and he tried to get into the main and try to scout the tech of his opponent, but he wasn't able to. Because of that, he didn't know if it was a Twilight Council, a Robo, or Stargate. If he did get in, he would have seen the Twilight Council not researching. It would have tipped him off that it was going to be DTs. Because he didn't know, he had his Marines split between his main and his natural. It looks like he was prepared for Phoenix defense or Oracle defense, but it was DTs instead. And we saw that the Dark Templar, they snowballed out of control. They got, what, 11 SCVs at the start of the game? It was brutal. Just how many workers they killed at the beginning, and that did set Dolan behind. GG. GG, well played. Was playing catch-up for most of that game, and unfortunately wasn't quite able to recover. Regardless, well played. ReBellioN will take the series. ReBellioN did come in as the favorite. B.